I often see guys online talking about and complaining about just how a lot of women will get upset at men for sexualizing them when they themselves are dressing in a way that is very sexually provocative, right? And see, this is the issue there. The issue is the fact that they feel offended by being sexualized when they present themselves in a sexual way. If they know that they're open to and they're receptive to one of those compliments, or they just want some eyes to be on them, and when that thing happens that they attract someone into their orbit, it's what are they attracting them with and what are they trying to attract them for. So it's like when a woman uses her sexuality in order to draw a man to be in her orbit as a friend or in a non-sexual way, that is oftentimes what creates different aspects of the friend zone. Like if a woman's beauty or her attractiveness, right, and her sexual desirability is what draws the man in to want to talk to her and to want to try to get to know her, but she also gives off with her words or her energy and how she interacts with the man that she's not necessarily sexually interested in him. The men who do not have enough experience with women will allow that to draw them in and think that they have hope or think that they have a chance or a possibility, right? This is oftentimes what may lead to the friend zone, or not necessarily always the friend zone, because a lot of times these aren't really friendships. But in another way that it works is that when a man don't get what he wants, then he's gonna feel some type of way about the woman. And the issue is that nowadays a woman will gaslight a man for understanding that aspect of the experience, and then say that he just feels entitled to sex, or say that he is, trying to manipulate her or whatever it is. But I'm about to flip this around on the other side, right? Men do a similar thing. See, you got to understand that your bait should attract the outcome that you desire. Your presentation should match the outcome that you desire in that particular scenario, that particular situation. And if you want your presentation to be too much different than who you are or how you represent yourself, then don't get upset when people don't see you that way. You need to know how to flip it. You need to know how to flip it in a way where it can create that effect. But you want your appearance to signify and to be a symbol and something that shows who you are in your presentation. You don't want those things to be too separate. Now, sometimes they can, but your presentation could be more than just how you dress. Your presentation could be how you talk to a woman, or just your presentation could be the subject matter of your conversation, or the way that you dress, the way, the place that you work, all these different things, right? So it's like when we understand this particular scenario, how a lot of these things can work is men will say that they have an issue with gold diggers, right? But when men say that they have an issue with gold diggers, the men are trying to woo the woman in for a sexual relationship, but trying to use his resources to do it. So it's like you meet the woman at the bar. Listen, if you meet a woman and you're out in public, first thing she's going to do is she's going to look at your body. She's going to look at your face. She's going to look at your body language. She's going to look at how you carry yourself, your walk, trying to think if you got a big piece on you. She's going to look at your hands. She's going to look and see if you're clean, but she's also going to be looking, seeing that if you're strong and appear sexual in your energy. Then she's going to take a look at, okay, how much, then she's looking at more so, okay, how even more so clean or things like that he is, or how well does he keep himself up, and how much, and that's cool too. But then it starts getting into the realm of, okay, cool, how much does that cost that he has on? That looks like an expensive watch. That looks like an expensive hat. Those look like expensive shoes. That's an expensive outfit. And when a woman sees that, that can attract her from the standpoint of her desire for enjoying your resources is popping into her priority list when it comes to what she wants out of you. And when that becomes higher up on the priority list of what she wants out of you, based off of your presentation, and when you meet her, you're just trying to buy her a bunch of drinks and doing a bunch of rounds and trying to show off with your resources. See, what this particular thing does, and when you go out on the first date, you're trying to take her on the most expensive date you can because you want to have a good time, and cool. If you're genuinely a guy who likes to have a good time and likes to splurge on women, and that's how you like to enjoy yourself, And especially if it's not a long-term situation and that's just how you like to enjoy yourself, or even in a long-term situation you'll be a provider, but you still understand how to be sexually desired. Like, listen, that's cool. That's cool. But what you got to understand is that if you're doing these things because if you want a woman to actually sexually desire you, first and foremost, you want her to get turned on by you as a man. You want to have a certain level of sexual attraction being at the foundation of a relationship or a sexual relationship, to where even if you didn't have those things, or even if that particular day you didn't take your nicer car out, or that particular day you were having a wash day or something like that, and you didn't feel like flossing up completely that day, or let's say you're with her in a long-term relationship, so she doesn't get to see you being 100% all the time, right? Or let's say it's a situation where you got to make sure you're doing it also up to the level of resources that you have consistently. Also make sure that you're not doing that in a way that puts yourself in a bad financial spot, trying to take a large chunk of the money that you make monthly in order to splurge on women. It's like when you do that kind of thing, it can kind of hurt you and put you back financially. And it can also stunt your goals, stunt your focus, stunt your priorities. That'll also cause a woman to put you into a certain category. And like when a woman notices those things, she picks it up, and she may show sexual desire or interest, but that may be more so because she's trying to draw you in because she wants to take advantage of those resources. But it's about how you present yourself. It's how you present yourself. Your presentation needs to represent what it is that you want out of the situation. If it doesn't, you're setting yourself up. And even if there's somebody who would want what you want, you may still be in a bad spot, because now it feels like you're changing up on who you are and how you present yourself and who you plan to be and who you say that you are. And that can cause someone to distrust you. So it's like, here's a good example. For women who truly are women who like to be sexualized, and that's what they really want, but they like to present themselves in a very conservative way, and then have a guy pursue them as if they're a very conservative woman. And then after a man has to have limited sexual access for an extended period of time, then she eventually gives him pedestrian relationship sex. But she knows she has an extensive history of getting her back blown out and doing monkey double backflips or whatever the niggas be calling it, right? When you know that that's the case, then the issue is here that now the man's going to feel like you lied to him about who you are, right? So it's a situation where if you know that's who you are, that doesn't mean that being that means you're not going to be relationship material. It just means you're not going to be relationship materials to guys who are willing to wait and who desire to wait and prove themselves to you because they think that you're worth it. That's what it does. That's the difference. Your presentation needs to match who you are and what you're looking for in a situation.